Welcome back. I hope you guys are all keeping dry and keeping, warm in this wintry weather. Today I want to do a video where I read the comments from one of my videos. This video would be what does Reddit think 1 year in about Tekken 8. So I wanted to see what does my comment section think of Tekken 8 1 year later. I wanted to do something a bit more intimate. There's something for us. I'm going to go ahead and read your comments. I'm going to state my opinions. If I agree or disagree, please do not come for me, all right? Speak who. With that, let's begin. Our first comment comes from Satoifi. I really hope I pronounce your names properly. You know what? Maybe I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get in trouble. So this comment. For me, the most frustrating were Heat Burst and Smash additions. The fact that you can just press one button and get at least plus frames on block and sometimes a lot of damage or even launch is crazy. I like Heat Dash though. I think it's a very cool feature. I agree, I like how it looks. As a complete game, Tekken 8 feels better than Tekken 7 for sure, but I still think gameplay wise Tekken 7 is better. I agree, I really like the Heat Dash mechanic too, it looks cool, and the heat engagers, I like how those look. I gotta say though, when it comes to Tekken 8, when comparing it to Tekken 7, keep in mind, Tekken 7 had more time to cook. So the developers had more time to fix the bugs and flesh things out. Also, Tekken 7 had I can't speak. These are hard without a script. So Tekken 7 had an arcade period where it was only in arcades, I believe. Look at issues and fix them before porting them to consoles and PC. I think it was in arcades for like 2 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. But there was enough time for them to iron out the issues in the game before releasing it to consoles. Just to be fair here. This person says, not that crazy, +1 OB. I don't know what OB means. Is that burst? I don't know what that means. +2 OH burst. Smash is just a move out of heat that can be used once. Not that hard to remember all of them if you spend some time in the game. People actually had enough of Tekken 7 because it was stale and the addition of 2D characters. I like the 2D characters. I think they were pretty cool, and I think they did really, really well with implementing them. The only issue was Akuma, right? Akuma was kind of broken, but overall, I like the addition of the 2D characters. I like the fact that they were not in every Tekken game, but it really shows how good the team is at bringing over a character, especially Negan. Negan was never in any game. I think this was the first game he was in, but they did so well with Negan. It really shows how skilled the team is at implementing and creating characters. All right, next comment here. I love this damn game. It runs perfect. That's hit and miss. Some people have been having issues with how the game runs. I've had some crashes, but once it's running, it runs pretty all right. Maubi. I don't know where you guys get these usernames from, but it's all right. Noobs/casuals think it's good. Tekken players think it's bad. It's really that simple. Good for Bamco, they're succeeding in pulling in the masses. Screw the people who have supported the game up to 25 plus years. Money talks. This is true. Let's be frank here. This is a game that requires money to stay operational. I don't agree with the noobs versus casuals and Tekken players. Like, we're all Tekken players here. And you need noobs/casuals in the ecosystem to keep the game healthy. Otherwise, we're only gonna have top tier people playing and everybody, like, it's kind of weird to me. Like, is everybody supposed to be at Tekken God of Destruction rank and just play there? What about the other ranks? They exist for people who are joining the game late. But at the same time, investing a lot of time in games is, that's natural. You're going to like things and spend a lot of time with them. That's video games, movies, TV shows. It really is a different thing though when you're playing a game and they change the monetization specifically. That hurts in a way that is, you're not going to feel it with a TV show or a movie. With a movie or a TV show, they get canceled, right? The series. But with a video game series, when they do something like this, it's like, yeah, I understand that you want to make a profit. But the way that they implemented the Tekken shop, the fact that they hid that from us, had it in development for such a long time and only waited until I think a week after the game was released, that's when they put in the Tekken shop. They knew what they were doing. It was kind of malicious to like hold that card in the back until it was time to drop it on us when we couldn't do anything about it, right? Some people bought the Ultimate Deluxe Edition. They could have saved that money and used it in the shop, but they didn't get that opportunity because Bamco basically held that information from us, which wasn't cool. I don't agree with that. So these two guys, they're arguing in the comment section. I don't think I want to read that. If you want to, that's cool. But let's skip over that. Other people need the spotlight here. All right, so Mantis D. All right, that's kind of cool. Mantis Day. This game is too aggressive, and playing defensively is very hard and frustrating. Almost every pro says that, and it's true. Playing defensive against good players is almost impossible. The most promising way to win is to play hyper aggressively. I'm also tired of the force 50-50 meta, where the only way to block attacks is to guess. Let's not even start talking about the sheer endless list of OP moves like Yoshi's Flash, King's Giant Swing, etc, etc. They need to balance many things in this game, otherwise this is the last game I bought from Bamco. I understand that, right? The game is still being balanced. They haven't released a major balance patch since last year, right? But they're going to soon, apparently before season 2 or in season 2, so we really have to wait and see if they do. But honestly, I can see why players would leave this game, especially like new or veteran players. It's like, you have other games to play. Why play this? Especially with the monetization, it's like, I don't need to spend my time here. I can spend it elsewhere. I've already paid for the game. I bought some skins. You guys are happy with the money. Looking at it from a business point of view, are your business practices going to keep enough players in the long run, especially with a fighting game? Fighting games are difficult to make, and they're also difficult to keep people interested in. Is this really the route that you want to go down? Like, I'm asking that to Bamco. Yes, they want more money, but I don't know how good this is for Tekken going forward. Robert Wazir 1226. All right. Honestly, I don't like Tekken 8. I really want to, but it boils down to 3 things for me as a casual who gave up fighting games to primarily practice Muay Thai. You see, this I have an issue with. Why do we have to put casuals in quotes, bro? Like, you're a full grown, or madam, I don't know, but you're a full grown adult. You're not tied to video games. You can do other things. Video games are a hobby. They're fun. I like to do them in my free time, but I have other obligations. I have other things I gotta do. I can't spend all my time playing video games. And if you want to practice Muay Thai to be a martial artist, like, that's good. You're interacting with the real world and doing something with your life. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with you putting more time into Muay Thai, school, kids, a job, and keeping Tekken as a casual game, or any game for that matter of fact. Don't let people on the internet make you feel bad about being a casual. Casuals are needed, mid-level people are needed, hardcore gamers are needed, and professionals are needed for the ecosystem to thrive. We need all of those groups. All right, number 1, the fighting is too on rails, so it interrupts the flow of combat. It seems like the useful attacks lead to mini cutscenes. For example, whatever attacks cause you to chase down the opponent to follow up. I think you're talking about heat engage. It's either heat engagers or the heat dash. One of those two you're talking about. Yeah, the first time you see it, it's cool or whatever. But after the 100th time, it's just filler. I went back to play Tekken 7's arcade and was surprised how much freedom I had without mini cutscenes interrupting every 5 seconds. I can see that. I like the interruptions, the cutscenes. I think they're pretty cool. I appreciate those kinds of things. It's a very good point that you brought up here, because Tekken 8 is very different from Tekken 7. Tekken 7 is a streamlined fighter. Tekken 8 has a lot of flash. That's one of the things that I don't personally like. There's too many effects moving around on the screen that it distracts me. It's perfectly fine for you not to like it, right? Even if you're a professional, because you do have professionals that are looking at this like, hey, I don't think I want to invest time in this. And fair enough. The game could improve going forward, but right now it's pretty rough. Number 2, the customization in Tekken 8 is pretty disappointing. I know the customization peaked in Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag 2, but Tekken 8 seems like a step backwards. The new designs are hit or miss. It sucks the classic costumes are behind a paywall, but that's just how it is nowadays with most games, it's true. I wish it were like Street Fighter 6 where you could earn classic costumes in-game or just buy if you wanted to, which is fair. Like, the customization in Tekken 8 isn't really good compared to other Tekkens. The cash shop isn't really good, or the whatchamacallit, the rewards in the battle pass, they are terrible. They feel like a waste of money. I bought some of them. I've tried to like support the game, but it's really hard for me to say, hey man, I'm gonna keep doing this going forward. I don't think I am. I don't think it's worth it. And it's not fun seeing them repackage Tekken 7 content as customization in Tekken 8. Because at that point, you're double dipping and taking something from us and charging us for it now. Next thing is, right, instead of paying for cosmetics, Use that money for something else, like another game. And that's the problem when you have microtransactions. I'm now thinking, should I invest my time and finances elsewhere as opposed to like playing and enjoying the game? Fair point. Number 3, I don't like what they did with Jin gameplay wise. I have been playing Jin since Tekken 3. I think I see where you're going with this. And honestly, I don't care for his new flashy devil moveset integrated into his traditional fighting. So you see, yeah, because you're a Muay Thai practitioner, so you're a martial artist. There is some level of purist and appreciation for the martial arts that with Tekken, it's there, but because it's a video game and they need to pull people in, there's going to be some flash that people don't really like. I main Xiao Yu, and it's kind of weird, but she's one of the characters that I like because the characters in Tekken that are mainly martial artists, I think it's cool that they're going against these super powered characters. Like Steve, even though Steve is enhanced, Nina is enhanced, but people like Feng, Asuka, Lili, Xiao Yu, yeah, Lei, those characters that don't have special powers and abilities, I think it's cool to see them fight against these super powered, like godlike people. I think it's cool. That's why, that's why Jin exists. Vanilla Jin has always had a more grounded moveset and not random devil wings and claw attacks. I enjoyed his restricted moveset from the story mode more. MGUPH. Tekken generally favors the legacy players until this installment. The heat system, well, you can say that now, but it might change in the future. I'll share more later. The heat system made round comebacks more attainable, or end the round quickly if you're ahead. Before, a more experienced player could just use fundamentals to slowly chip you to death. Now, even as a newcomer, you can force to get your turn back with heat. As a legacy player myself, my experience in the first 4 months from release at times had been incredibly frustrating, as you could have a good set of games, then in the next one get mercilessly obliterated, which will have you saying, what the fuck just happened? Now 1 year in, I could say, I'm playing better, which means I'm having more fun. The best part for me in this game is the replay system, which a lot of players, including me, overlooked. When you lose, you just go check the replay and you can actually replay with controls a specific interaction you had trouble on, and do something different to see what works. The game still has a lot to improve upon. Without mentioning the shop, the matchmaking system is still where I think a lot of the frustration stems from. The prowess system makes it favorable for experienced players to rank up easily, while making it stupid hard for newcomers. I believe matchmaking should queue in this order: win PCT, rank, prowess. It's still Tekken, so the fundamentals are still going to be at play here. And even though we have the new heat system, right? Over time, they may tone it down, and then the legacy players are going to be in a better position because it's going to be similar to old time Tekken. Another thing with legacy players is that you guys have more experience with the different characters in the game, so there's less knowledge that you guys need to pad on to learn Tekken 8, right? You need to learn the new heat system, right? You need to adapt to sidestep and backdashing. That's easier for you than a newer player. I gotta be fair here. New players coming into Tekken have a very difficult time learning this game. It's a complex game. There are many moves for each character, and there are many different factors of the game that you need to learn. Like just fundamentals alone is a lot. Learning your character is a lot. Practicing combos and not dropping them consistently, that's a lot for most players, especially players that are coming from different games that aren't fighting games. This is their first Tekken. Tekken is a very unique kind of fighting game. Let's be very fair here. All right, I don't know how to pronounce your name, buddy. The game is still fun, but the noticeable issues or problems are still in the game. If they can somehow fix the heat system in general and tracking issues in this game in Season 2, well, I think they could. In Season 2, it'll be a much better game overall, both for casuals and competitive players. I think if they were able to fix the heat issues and tracking, it would be, and also like make backdashing safe, it would be similar to Tekken 8. Tekken 7, but I'm not sure what they're trying to do here. They're trying to make it more aggressive, but how exactly? Like what are they envisioning a more aggressive Tekken to be? The gameplay system is more problematic than the current top 10 characters in this game, in my opinion. Well, yeah, because the top characters take advantage of the new gameplay systems that they've implemented. So if you fix the systems, then you indirectly fix the characters. So fixing the systems first and then the characters, I think that's a good way to go. Because let's say you nerf or buff characters, the systems are still gonna be there gameplay wide, so everybody's gonna have an issue with it. This is really level-headed. Not bad. Spiral Flame 88. You see that? Easy username. There are too many functions within the heat system, and they're all about being offensive. Heat burst, heat dash, heat engager, heat smash, and modified heat moves during heat. Compare that to the rage system, where all you get is access to rage art and 10% boost in damage. If they don't remove the heat system entirely, they can at least remove heat engagers and heat smash. They're not going to remove anything. They can't remove the things that they've already put in. They can only tone them down. Because taking away tools, I don't think that is going to bode as well as like nerfing them a bit, right? Nerfing is a lot better than removing entirely. Or maybe they could reduce the amount of heat engagers that characters have or limit them, or keep them standardized like maybe 2 or 3, right? Gameplay in the back made, I saw this comment earlier. Gameplay in the back made me feel weird like dopamine addicted TikTok kid. Tekken has been weird like this for a while, but this color festival makes me lose the vibe of this game and kind of dark story. In Tekken 7 it was a little funny, but too much of it is so weird. Yeah, the story in Tekken is not very good. I gotta be honest, most fighting games don't have a good story. This though, Tekken is kind of an overload for the senses, especially with the fact that you have to visually look at what is happening on screen to see what your opponent is doing and confirm what you're doing, like confirm counter hits. But also you have to also be focused in with the audio. You got to pay attention to what are the audio cues that your opponent is using so you can defend against certain moves. It's rather hard to do both in Tekken 8, specifically because like there's so much happening on screen that it's a lot for you to take in. Over time, maybe we'll get more accustomed to it, but this game is a lot visually. All right, world record loser, big boy, big girl comment. Gotta focus for this. I've said plenty of shit about this game by slandering it as scrubby and brain dead. There is some good to the game. When you're playing the game casually and labbing, it's fun, and it wants you to play more. But ranked is a stressful, egotistical, and toxic cesspool. The ranked in this game is underratedly frustrating. Heat, let alone, ruins the game for me. Cause to me, it seems like a first to block loses type game. Kinda true. Rage is too safe because for some reason, I can't say that, bro, man, this is YouTube. For some reason, Harada and the devs thought it would be a good idea to make Rage slightly safer. You can still launch punish, but you can't punish a Rage art with a Rage art, unlike Tekken 7. Armor is a mechanic that drives me balls to the wall, because it just encourages players to mash, and losing to an armored attack is so salt-inducing. Monetization is a joke. No idea what Spamco was thinking. Come on, bro. We both know what they were thinking. When the game was new, no scrubby monetization. Yeah, that was true, like a week or two they didn't add it in. But then they added an item shop, which sold things you could unlock for free in older Tekken games. And then added a battle pass. For what stupid reason? You know why. Come on. You and I both know. Which the premium rewards are just items from Tekken 7. I do not know what Harada was smoking. He wasn't smoking nothing. He was looking at his bank account. The newcomers were mid. Well, Reina was alright. Did not like not one of them. Really, none of them? And the DLC characters for Season 1 were lackluster. We have Mash 3 to win Eddie. Should have been base roster Lidia. Should have stayed dead, although I kinda like you, Heihachi. And another Final Fantasy character, Clive. Tekken 8 was a good and enjoyable game, but the game kept going downhill and downhill that I ended up going on a hiatus from Tekken and fighting games as a whole because I lost the ability to care. A shame. I hadn't played the game properly since July. Yeah, you see that? You're gonna have people just leaving the game. At least this guy's willing to tell you, but there are many people that are ready to bounce. If there's even a whiff of a battle pass, an item shop, they're gone. I used to be one of those guys. Tekken is one of the games that I really like. I used to play Apex Legends, and I saw where they were going with the monetization. I was like, you know what? I'm out. I don't need to be playing this. All right, I got other things to do with my time. And Tekken seems to be going down that route. Maybe it'll change, but they're already there. All right, so we got some more comments here, so you guys can see the discussion going on right here. But I want to look at, main comments. I like Tekken 8. I do wish there was a mode that there was no heat smashes, rage arts, or unlimited juggling. A pure Tekken mode. So you kind of want Tekken footsie, right? Like, it would be kind of interesting if they added like a way to add custom matches in Tekken where you would remove certain features, right? That would be kind of cool. But it's kind of a stretch to ask for like a pure Tekken mode, limited juggling, no rage arts, heat smashes. That's kind of weird. Not gonna lie to you, but G Money 511, you know what you like. Unknown YS7PL. Everyone has to remember though, this is only year one. Very true. People are comparing Tekken 7 to a fairly new installment that hasn't had enough time to fix bugs and do major balance updates. Issues aside, the game can become more promising over time, but it just depends on the devs and how the community pushes the game. It's true, there is more time for the game to develop, but at the same time, if they develop the game in a more money-hungry way, the community won't push the game because it won't be a game worth pushing. Invader Zim, how you get that name? Lucky you. Tekken 8 is a whole lot of fun when you don't have someone telling you how much they hate Tekken 8. Tekken 8 has had its ups and downs, but honestly, this might be my favorite Tekken ever. I spent so much time already into it. Recently started with Jack, and that was fun too. I have to say though, yeah, some balance changes and heat tweaks would definitely be very nice to make the game more balanced. Most of the people I hear say Tekken 8 is for scrubs, have a long ass time on the game and are still in blue ranks. It's easier to have a good rank, I'd say, but even that they struggle with. The core gameplay is mostly the same, heat changes things a bit, but I wouldn't say it's such a difference. It's such a difference. It's a new game. Tekken Tag 2 videos had the same thing with people saying Tekken 8 is only for scrubs. Watch Knee vs JCDR. Read the comments on that Tekken Tag Tournament 2 video. If you like the game, that's cool. If not, that's also cool. But people will say you're bad just for enjoying Tekken 8 and will still be low rank on both. People gotta let others enjoy the stuff they like. Which is true. Like, we can't all like the same things. Like, even if you decide not to play Tekken 8, you can play Tekken 7, you can play another game. Negatively talking about people who like the game, you don't have to do that. Because at some point, you liked it enough to buy it and try it out. It disappointed you, fair enough, but for some people, they really liked it. Only Tekken I got bored with after playing for an hour. While I spent endless hours on Tekken 7, a really corny gameplay loop with the 50-50s and a heat, so I dropped it for almost a year, but may reinstall for Anna. I will say it's funny to watch the goofy mechanics. Alright, fair enough. Like, if that's what you think, alright. People are going to stop playing the game if it's not what they like. If it disappoints them, they're gonna bounce, and it's perfectly fine for them to do that. I mean, I did that with Apex Legends. Akabara Gil 00. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So sorry if I didn't. I never bought any fighting game and played seriously like I did in Tekken 8. Bought Mortal Kombat, and then just for the story mode didn't even bother to play ranked or anything but Tekken 8 low. I bought the game just because they announced Clive it. Okay, this is good. Because they announced Clive is in it, because I love Final Fantasy 16 so much. The giant kaiju battles, the Devil May Cry-ish combat system, Clive himself. I don't know why, I just liked him so much. Yeah, that's cool, there's nothing wrong if you like this character. It's been 73 hours and I only main Clive on ranked and in quick match. Sometimes I let my friends have fun and choose random characters, but yeah, I'm impressed that they can make Clive combos as lore accurate and moves exactly the same as in the game itself. By this game, he's saying Final Fantasy. It's like I'm playing Final Fantasy 6 game minigame at this point. Probably gonna main Dragunov or Reina, or maybe even Azucena next, or maybe Victor. IDK, can't decide. I like the characters and can parry and moves fast. Tekken 8 sparked the competitive fire in me. I thought that was lost long ago. So this is a newcomer that came in because of Clive. And it shows, like, even though people didn't really like Clive, they didn't ask for him, I didn't even know about him. There are other people that have been playing Final Fantasy and Clive is new enough that he's gonna pull them into Tekken 8. So it's actually working what Bandai Namco wanted to do. Bring in a Final Fantasy character from a newer Final Fantasy in the hopes to get people into Tekken because of that new character. I mean, that's pretty spot on what they're trying to do. All right, this person. And what's the big issue is a lot of the fundamentals you learned from the previous Tekken games cannot be applied to this one because of how strong tracking is. That's more of the issue that needs to be fixed. You need to have more defensive options for stuff. You should not be forced into 50-50 for 75% of the match. That was the privilege of being a legacy player, was knowing the matchups and being able to handle the situation. But now they've made so many comeback mechanics to where you see players that aren't even as good as high level players in the same levels and ranks. And also there are a lot of hackers and cheaters. That's why a lot of people didn't care for the rank in this one, just too sweaty and crazy, not real Tekken. That's the thing, what's real Tekken? We don't get to decide what real Tekken is. The developers do. So like, yeah, I understand it's not like Tekken 7, but this is modern Tekken, like, even if you don't agree with it. Pian0G445. Year 1 Tekken 8 has a lot of small and very noticeable issues. But even with all of that, I genuinely think it's a fun game that also improves in a lot of aspects. Replay is actually godlike, especially with how you can take control so you can practice against a specific thing your opponent does. Now, if the game stays in the same state for another year or more, I'd be disappointed. So here's the hope that year 2 and beyond improves the balancing and system mechanics. Tekken 8 is in some areas way overtuned for aggressiveness, where it becomes frustrating. When certain things are tweaked, it can still retain the aggressive design, but feel more fair and even more fun. So a trend that I'm noticing here is to reduce the aggression in Tekken 8, but also include some more defensive options, which I think is true because we have the new heat mechanic now. Are there any mechanics that they could implement to balance out the heat mechanic? That's for the developers to think about. Been playing since Tekken 3. I love the series, but Tekken 8 is way too beginner friendly, but it is still fun. I understand that point here. It's just, it needs to be somewhat beginner friendly to bring new players in. Tekken is a very difficult game to learn, so trying to bring new people in, it's going to be harder to bring them in and keep them compared to other games. If we're not able to do that, well, if Bandai Namco isn't able to do that, the game is going to die out because there won't be enough players in the player base to keep it running. So after a year into it and 120 hours in the game, Tekken 8 is certifiably fun. The same gimmicky characters are still there, but they're nowhere near as rage-inducing. Okay. I'd rather fight a bunch of Victors and Reinas that are all mashing their way to victory than fight one Konimitsu player that's knowledge checking me the whole time in a quick match. Okay. That's gonna happen in the future. I'm so sorry. Like, you're gonna have more people that learn the game, and it's gonna be harder for you to play against them. It's gonna be late stage Tekken 7 in a few years, so just get ready for that. That's how Tekken is. Granted, there are new players coming into the game now, so maybe there's a longer stretch of road before we get to that point. The video is harder to watch/listen to with the game sound in the background. Please consider muting gameplay audio when editing the next videos. You see, I have no problem with this. This is a cool recommendation, and it's something I've been having issues with, like trying to ensure that I can get my point across and not smother you with gameplay audio. So trying to find that balance is rather difficult. But what I've been doing recently is toning the audio in the background down, so it's like faint, you can barely hear it. But I wanted it to be there so that way the gameplay audio in the back isn't just there. I wanted there to be some level of audio there, so you have that audio to listen to while I'm talking. All right, so this person would say, he goes on to, because I asked further, he goes on to say, I would mute entirely and replace it with quiet background music. I've tried that before, but oddly enough, not using background music is getting me better results. But I can still go back to trying it. I mean, why not? I did it before. I've known about Tekken since I was young, but no fighting game has made me play this much since Storm 4. He's talking about, I think, Naruto Ninja Storm 4. So much so, I bought almost every game from Tag 1 to Tekken 8. This guy's serious. Personally, this game is close to perfect, and I'm excited to see the future of it. I hope that they take out the whole hiding the DLC characters, and I would like Kunimitsu and Armor King to join. Yeah, Armor King is definitely coming back. Kunimitsu, I think she will. Legacy stages would be cool, also making the season pass content available after the season ends, so we can get content we missed out on. That's very important, because in Tekken 7 you could buy Tekken 7 and just like get the content using the treasure battle mode, I think. But in Tekken 8, if you miss a season pass, you miss the contents of the pass, which isn't really cool. That's a weird way to implement things. This comment is interesting, right? So I'll read it and then I'll share why it's interesting. Bro, you should consider doing a poll or have a live discussion or a call to get the answer. I have a perspective on Tekken 8 that I don't think I hear from many other streamers. You kind of made me research the community tab, and I found out I don't have access to the community tab because you need at least 500 subscribers to access the community tab. So I'm gonna get there pretty soon, but I should definitely start asking for more subscriptions, because otherwise there are features in YouTube that are locked away from me. I'm still under 500 subs, despite how good people have said the quality of my videos are. It's still an uphill battle, as they would say. But yeah, you made me realize, oh man, I don't have this stuff. All these people saying it's on balance and doesn't require skill are literally just scrubs who think they're not scrubs, who don't like losing more than they used to. Yeah, some things are annoying. Get over it. Improve, adapt, overcome. Or keep crying and swearing Bamco won't get any more of your money. Personally, I think it's a good thing. All the whiny crappy people can all F off to Street Fighter with the rest of the frame rate watching virgins. Yeah, the complaining can get it can weigh you down, especially like in the Tekken subreddit. People complain a lot there. They are mad. I can see the complaining about the microtransactions and the store, but complaining about the balance of the game, to me, it's gonna be like this for a while. I don't know how long. Season 2 might fix everything, but it's gonna be like this for a while, and we just gotta really wait and see what the developers come up with. It's really just that simple. There's not enough time transpired for them to have implemented changes that would have fixed these issues like in Tekken 7. Tekken 7 was an old game, so they had a lot of time to implement a lot of fixes. But with 8, we just gotta wait and see. This guy is mad, bro. Okay. All right, this is a big boy, big girl comment. All right, let me sit up here. Tekken 8 has 2 critical flaws that are unacceptable, and I'm very angry at the FGC community for not talking about them. Number 1, forced TAA, temporal anti-aliasing. I know most will glaze over their eyes, so I'll explain it so anyone can understand. It makes the game look blurry. It's like a permanent blur that can't be disabled. Problem is that it's blurry only during motion, so when you play, and it looks fine when nothing is happening on the screen. So screenshots looks fine, but the moment anything is moving or happening, it's blurry. There was a thread explaining this, and that's it. Everyone just doesn't care enough. And when I ask content creators to talk about this, no one cares. So we're just stuck with a blurry game and no one complains. This is mind-blowing because being able to see clearly what's happening is crucial in a fighting game. Point number 2, locked at 60 FPS. Every time I talk about this, I get people, and I'm sorry for being rude here, that frankly don't understand the first thing about game engines. It's telling me that it's impossible to have anything else, which is insane because it's simply not true. There's one guy that made a mod that even works online crossplay that makes the game have unlocked frame rates. FGC has too low standards. No, scratch that. It has no standards. Alright, you're exaggerating here, but yeah, the standards are pretty low. 60 FPS may have been fine in 1990. But being limited to that in 2024/2025 is not good enough. And before someone in the comments again, don't you know what frame data is? Having 60Hz logic tick rate and unlinked render pipeline resolves that. And it's actually how every modern game engine works. Every time I say these things, everyone just ignores me. I don't understand why people don't have any standards whatsoever. It's 2025. 60 FPS lock doesn't belong in this day and age. It's like the FGC is stuck in this bubble and are afraid to ask for more than the absolute bare minimum. Everyone is fine complaining about balance, but the moment you complain about any technical issues, it's like everyone either ignores you or tries their best to shut you down, even if they don't have any clue what they're talking about. I'm not even playing Tekken anymore because of these two issues stated above. I'm still asking for a better game for you guys. And for me, maybe if they fix those two, I'll come back. All right, there should have been a comment here. But somehow asking for a better game isn't allowed within the community if it doesn't directly start and end with balance and costumes. Yeah, people love the costumes. I think you're right here in the fact that most people don't understand how game engines work. I'll admit I don't. Like, I've never had to make a game. I've never investigated game engines. So for most people, it's something that's outside of their knowledge base. For you, maybe not. So maybe it would be good for you to make a video explaining what exactly the issue is, so that could bring more attention to it. You could also add in what are the solutions, so that way if there are any developers that are, aware of your video, they're looking in the subreddits, they're looking at YouTube content around Tekken 8 just for research, your video might pop up, and that might give them, the push that they need to say, hey, this is actually something that people are interested in. Honestly, too much hand-holding and forced 50-50s in my opinion. All right, yeah, so the 50-50s, people are not happy with that. Even if it was perfect, people would still complain. Yeah, that's the nature of life. Like, even if you make something that fixes the problem in an efficient and cheap way, people might still find some way to complain about it. So that's really the nature of life. Yeah, you're right there. But it's okay for people to complain and say, hey, these are issues that need to be fixed. Because otherwise, the developers may not know that it's an issue that needs to be worked upon. As the old saying goes, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So you gotta make some noise about the problems that you're experiencing, so that way people know that it's a problem to be fixed. And with that, we're at the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think about these kinds of videos. I think they're really interesting. I like to read your comments and see what people are thinking. And I also like to, build up the community and have more of these discussions. I like seeing people like comment and have discussions under each other's comments. It's really cool to see like people are discussing their opinions and sharing what they think. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. You guys stay warm, stay dry, and take care. I'm out.